Okay, it's 7 o'clock. This is a joint meeting between the Lee Board of Selectmen and the Advisory Budget Committee. I will turn the meeting over to the chairman of the Advisory Budget Committee.
All right. First up, we have the Highway Department. And when you're ready, yeah. If you want to introduce yourself, that would be great.
My name's Steve Bullock. I'm the new highway supervisor. Started yesterday.
Welcome.
Good having you on
Well,
board.
we got wires.
You got wired, man.
They ought to have a trip on us. They're
Couple of days
electrified.
in the job.
They're electrified, just in case.
It was Steve, right?
Yes.
Yes,
All right, where do you come to us from?
The state, the Department of Transportation.
Did you live in Rochester?
I live in Madbury.
Oh, Madbury, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
My house is like eight miles from here.
Oh, that's good.
So, as I stated, I've only been here like 2 days, so I kind of haven't really delved into this.
How'd the first 2 days go?
My head's spinning.
Came back for the second day.
That's good.
Came back.
So, the reason today I requested add the 3,000 to next year's private help, private on-call wages budget is, as I was looking with Randy, and the most they pay some of the guys with CDLs is $19 an hour. And so last night I made phone calls to every contact I had that drives truck, and not one of them would say yes to come and plow snow for $19 an hour. Normally, the private contractors that I deal with, they pay their guys at least 20, and it's usually cash under the table, which is why I requested a little bit more to try to raise their rate, which I sent her a letter and talked to you guys at the next selectmen's meeting about upping their rate. So I just figured I'd add the 3,000 to, in anticipation that you might say yes. That way, if you say no, you know, it can come back out. But I didn't want you to say yes and then not have it put forward.
That equates to an hourly rate of 20. I mean, if you just estimate the number of hours that we might need, or,
I went a little over, hoping I never get to it. Figuring that,
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay.
because this, like Randy went over 1 year by,
yeah, you've got 12,000.
yeah, and I don't know what this winter is gonna bring, and I don't know what next winter is gonna bring. We could have a bad winter and we may only spend 5. Or a good winter, sorry, we only spend 5. We have a bad winter, and it could be a lot more.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering if the amount, if when you computed the amount, was it based on going to $20 an hour?
It was based to try to put them to 22, which is what the town of Stratton, the town of Stratton pays their private help. Their private contractors that plow snow for them 22.
Now, is that truck and driver? Or just driver?
Just driver.
Just driver, okay.
So the state of New Hampshire used to put private trucks out, so we'd rent from Rye Beach Landscaping, and they pay top rate, plow spread with wings, $77 an hour, and it would be, the state would pay them an extra $16 an hour, including that rate for the driver, but normally company would add in an extra 4, because they wouldn't get people to work the hours.
Yeah, I was just afraid you were trying to tell me that was truck and driver. I was
No,
like,
No,
You're never gonna do
Yeah,
it.
so let's go for it.
yeah, if you could do that, that'd be, I mean, that's,
So you're saying it's just part-time help, basically?
yeah, so
They're not
guys like, if Randy wanted to come back and plow, and then like Randy's brother wanted to come back and plow, but Randy's brother said he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. So I'm down 2 part-time guys. So I'm trying to entice new
A little
part-time guys.
bribery in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
I may be getting,
It's not doing what done before.
these are contractors, in other words, they'll get a 1099.
No, they will be part-time employees.
Oh, Thank
That's how
you.
we do it now, yeah.
Okay.
But as Steve mentioned, we already know we're gonna be down drivers.
Yeah, I'm just, it makes a difference on
Mhm.
your budget
Yep.
if they're just contractors getting a
Correct.
1099
Yep.
or if they're actually part-time
Right.
employees.
So I didn't bother to update the personnel end of the budget yet, because they're part-time workers, it's not gonna end up being that big of an impact to the FICA budget, so that'll catch up at some point.
Okay, so the 22 is considering the taxes and so forth are gonna be taken out?
That's why I'm trying
Okay.
to do it.
That's what I was figuring.
The 500 they added for plow edges and equipment. I have no idea why they added that, to be honest with you, I just got here.
I think probably because
So-
he saw where he was, that he was going over. in the
Okay,
last
I
fiscal
haven't,
year.
I haven't gotten
Yeah, yeah,
into it, but you're right, I see that he went
Yeah.
over by $500 that one year, so. The paving, they added the 35,000 onto it because Randy has done things over the last few years where he projects his roads.
oh, everybody has a copy.
Where he projects his roads out, so I agree with how he has it, so
Okay,
figured we'd stick with it.
so that's just a higher lump of paving this year than,
Yeah, and then if you notice,
Last
it
year.
it drops down, he's trying to get roads done. What was it, one of the roads got ground out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, if you look at the paving schedule that I handed out to you.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
High Road was the biggest priority because the last time it was done was when they did a complete rehab of it, ground it down, redid the whole base, and then put new hot top from the gravel all the way up. So that's what he wanted to do. I tend to agree with him, so I think it looks good the way he has it. Stone, sand, and gravel. He went over budget obviously the last year, so he went up. And then the sand they got out of that reclaim place there's only 2 years left with it about, so we're gonna have to start buying road sand again here pretty soon. And then salt, sand and magnesium. From what I can tell, Randy was extremely conservative with the amount of salt he put out. Like, really conservative, which is good. I used to put out in 2 snowstorms what he put out in an entire year, so I would never do that here. We don't have any of the roads like they had. But, so, salt has gone up for some contracts and down for other. I think Morton was $55 a ton, and Granite State Minerals was down to 47. But that's this year. Next year, they could go back up to 60 like they were in years past. Okay? That's about all I got. Any other questions for me?
Do we want to delve at all into the conversation about cemetery maintenance?
Do you
Have you-
know about cemetery maintenance?
Cutting the grass and weed whacking around everything. I can do that part. The part that I've never done is digging the hole to bury somebody.
So,
Well, sometimes it's,
we may end up talking more at length with the cemetery trustees.
Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be one big lump of discussion that we have when the cemetery trustees are here.
Okay.
And, because, It's somewhat contentious right now, and obviously you need to be here. You also need to get up to speed on just exactly what is required. And then there's some issues over, who digs the hole. Okay, so we'll cover all of that in the one meeting, I think, if that's okay, John?
I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
Julie, you agree with that?
Yeah, that's
Okay. I think that's the best way to do it.
Just so everybody knows, there's no, I don't believe there's no separate line item in the highway budget for cemetery maintenance. It's just encapsulated within the salary and wage costs in the highway budget. That's why you don't see a separate line.
Yeah.
But you should see in your notebook a separate spreadsheet where, Randy had kept track of the number of hours, and that was just to try to get a handle on how much work, and then really what the associated costs are. In other words, it does cost us something, just because it's not broken out as a separate line item.
I think he was anticipating a day when the people would all change and looking for a different way to do it.
Right,
At least it gives you some idea of how much time he's actually spent on it.
right.
I know the one across the street from the town hall, it takes 9 man-hours to do each time.
Yeah, it's a full day's work.
From the cemetery.
Yeah. And they've got 17 cemeteries to maintain. Obviously, they're not all that big, but
So Julie, what's the rate based on?
The $48.
$48 an hour.
That's just the salary, the wages, plus the ancillary benefit costs,
Yeah.
The 48.
the 48.
There's obviously equipment costs and so on.
All right.
You talked one time about a shared lawnmower.
Yes, there was a lawnmower, a 360 lawnmower that was, I guess, donated.
That story has taken on a bit of a mythical aspect to it.
Mythical.
Yeah, I'm not sure I entirely go.
Well, yeah, exactly who gave what to whom is somewhat,
Yeah, but whatever happened, it was a good 10 or 15 years ago, so I'm sure the mower has depreciated
yeah.
to the extent where it doesn't really have the value that it had when someone may or may not
Yeah.
have purchased it or
I guess, I don't know, maybe the question is who's the mower belonged to?
Or the highway department.
Highway Department, yeah. Anyway, we'll cover all of that in the meeting, I'm sure.
Mhm.
I know this is kind of early in the game to put you on the spot, so if I am, please just, how do you feel about the hours that you've got to work with? Have you gotten too comfortable with the number of people, and is it too early to tell?
If I don't get any help, I'm not comfortable with the amount of people that I have, and that would be a part-time
Okay.
people, because I won't have enough people to put in the amount of dump trucks that the town owns, so.
He's talking specifically plowing.
So that's
You're-
just
I'm talking
plowing?
specifically plowing,
Okay.
yeah. I
What
think
about
I can,
everything?
How
I
about
haven't
everything else?
gotten really into a lot of this stuff
It's too
yet.
early for you,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not really a fair question.
I mean, I can do a lot of work on the roads that the town has with 3 people compared to where I'm from, where I would need 7 people to do it because 2 people have to be designated to try to stop traffic.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
So, like,
We don't do that
You
here.
just kill them off.
you know.
Just drive right through them.
We don't have any traffic. except when-
Well,
No,
that's what you call traffic.
That's the big thing I've noticed. I mean, I come from roads that had 20,000 cars a day on them to
Cars that-
3,
roads that
4.
don't.
So, I think I'm okay with the amount of people I have right now.
Okay,
I haven't really gotten into it yet.
I know, it's too early to
That
ask.
could change when I see how, if I'm the one mowing all the cemeteries, that could change. I don't know.
No, exactly right, exactly
I
right.
have no
Yeah,
idea.
I understand
It's
that.
too early.
Next year at this
You'll
time,
know
the
next year,
conversation may be a lot different.
That's true. That's true.
But, yeah, I haven't really gotten into it.
Okay, that's.
My head's been spinning trying to figure out where all the roads are and trying to do all that stuff right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Plus, one of the 2 highway workers is on vacation this week.
Oh,
So he hasn't-
50% of the workforce
So he hasn't even met everybody.
is out.
He comes back Thursday, and I think
Who's that?
Warren's going on
Pete's on
vacation.
Oh, Pete is?
After
Really?
that for a
Yeah.
while, so.
And he does quite a bit. So that's,
they both-
one goes, on. Yeah, they
They
all,
both
they
do
all,
quite
they
a
do
bit.
a lot.
Oh, it could be a little bit slop time, you built in that part-time on call. So you need to call someone to help you cut the grass, I guess you could use that money too as well.
You could, if you didn't need it for the snow program.
Exactly, so they might be holdover.
If it's not all used up, yeah.
Exactly.
We just bought a new plow truck, it isn't gonna snow this winter.
Really?
Murphy's.
I heard it's supposed to snow tonight.
I hope it doesn't snow everywhere.
Yeah.
It never happens.
In the mountains, yeah.
Mountains and
they said-
everything.
They said it's supposed to snow tonight, yeah.
I'm good.
Jesus.
Okay?
I'm good.
Everybody's good? All right.
All right.
Okay, thank you very
Very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good evening.
Meet you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely welcome aboard.
So I'm good to go.
Yes, you are.
All set. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys for your time. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I don't see any transfer station.
That's what I was wondering.
Employees
Yeah.
here.
Toby,
Well, it was scheduled for what time?
7:45.
what the heck?
Question,
Yep.
is the salary in here? And is this what we're paying this guy?
No, not right now,
That's not what we have right now.
but there was an understanding when he was hired that they would review him after
6 months.
either 3 or 6 months, I think 6 months.
So he's getting more than is budgeted for the road agent?
No,
Or he's
No.
getting less than that?
correct,
Less
Okay.
now.
I didn't know
And
he
that
was
hasn't-
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, is it significant or is it?
I mean, the budget will be fine.
That's all we need to worry about.
Yeah, okay.
You can always do a non-public if you want at this point. If you think he's gonna take a while to come.
Well, let me see if I can get him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we let him know where,
Non-public.
if he's close?
Well, yeah, we could do that, discuss this issue that Julie had about the case that we lost.
Oh,
And then
Then
ABC
we
can
leave.
discuss things.
Do we all leave?
No, we'll go in the,
Go in the other room.
Oh,
Let me
Yeah,
see.
we would boot you out.
I was gonna say, okay, well. Yeah. we don't-
Rebecca, do you
we
know
don't
anybody
want
around
to
here?
go over
We want to introduce ourselves.
Call him.
Top
Oh,
secret
okay.
I
information.
know some people say that.
Well, let's start anyways.
She knows me, we're on jury together.
Yeah.
That's true. That's it.
I'm Brian Burke.
And Brian used to be the police chief here, how many years ago?
Say
I
that?
won't put you on the spot, Brian.
29.
I remember that you were the police chief. I don't remember anybody's name, but
But I haven't been doing it for 18 years, so, you know, people keep saying,
Yeah.
what do you think of? That was not, that's been the 18 years I've been there.
And we know each other, we teach together at the university, John, of course.
like,
Gary Brown, we've done this.
No, we haven't.
No, we have. The
Just
first,
pulled
didn't we
him
do
in
this the
for
first
the-
Tom
night?
Murdoch.
I'm gonna try to
Didn't we
get
do this the
everything.
first?
You know else sitting over here?
I know Alice, and I can tell you about
And
it.
you know Julie. We all know Julie.
He's pulling into the parking lot.
I know everybody by sight. I don't know that I know everybody's names yet.
He'll find out tomorrow.
I'll get it from you.
Where are you, transfer station?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. This should be interesting.
Transfer
station.
You get a break.
This is the guy that you know,
Yes.
I don't know if Randy was in charge of the transfer.
Already, it's the road agent.
Toby's in charge of the transfer station. Used to be Roger. Do you remember Roger?
No, you know what, I am very lucky that I don't have to go to the transfer station very often. That is
Wow.
something that my husband does.
Oh, your husband does it, so. there you
I
go.
feel very lucky. That's something he does that I don't have to do.
I get a
I
lot
go
more
like
college
3
if you've
times a
done that
week.
anyplace else.
It's open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
You were
Saturday.
there today?
Yes.
He did pick grapes picked some of the Concord grapes. I was very excited about that. I made grape pie.
Is it good?
I don't like jelly, so I don't think it's very good.
I never had grape pie.
It tastes like jelly.
Is it
What?
grape pie?
Concord grape pie.
I've had blueberry pie, I've had.
Grape pie.
Never,
My
never
husband's
bar.
from upstate New York, where it's grape country.
Really?
It's just one of the things.
And they make grape everything.
And I make grape pie. That's their big thing.
Good evening.
Now that you mention anything, you're gonna have to bring some
I
along.
know.
How are you this evening?
Good. Chairman Smith of the planning board always brings strawberry rhubarb pie. Yes,
Oh,
he does.
really?
He sure does.
Who does?
Bob Smith of the planning board, he's the chairman of the planning board.
Planning board, so it's right after Thanksgiving,
That's right.
This is Toby. Do you know Toby?
huh? I don't think I met her. Hi, I'm Rebecca. My husband goes to the transfer station. I'm very lucky.
And his name is?
She just got through, I don't know any of them
No,
because
your husband's name.
my husband goes.
Joe. Make sure you notice Joe when you say him.
Yeah, right. All right. All set?
You're so far, yes.
Okay.
Your second time around,
I know, you're a little pro now.
You were gentle on you last time, weren't you?
Yeah, right.
Well, there's a couple of things I just want to bring up. You probably got the slip that I'm looking forward to get a full-time worker with me, and that's one of the big things that I'm kind of spreading it thin over there, and we have no part-time. We got one part-timer now, and that's it. And nobody's biting at the job at this point. Since we already had a part-timer there, I was looking at trying to incorporate him to become a full-timer, so I get a lot of these projects done on site. A lot of you might have the list of projects that I gave Julie forward to. I had them broken down, I broke it down, Julie broke it down for me, and also I did too, that by day, by week, and by month, to give us an idea, and also projects coming up that need to be done. A lot of the projects that fell behind, that when I took over the position, there was still a lot of projects out there that need to be done. And we've been trying to get caught up. And it's hard to get caught up in the transfer station because it's a go thing. So I'm trying to move forward with this and try to get a lot of these projects done from the past to present. That, in my opinion, should have been done in the past. But now I gotta go back and try to get these things done. For example, the bulky building out back, it's falling apart, that's a project. DES, trying to make sure after a day, on a full work day, what we do is the next day, we try to do what we can to clean up those areas. Because DES, if we could get a surprise inspection, we want to make sure that we're properly labeled and neat. If we're not in that, we could get penalized or get fined or whatever. So we try to stay up on top of this stuff. And it's very difficult to do with one full-timer. I try doing it the best I can, and I'm scrambling up and down when I'm doing a project, that I get a welded, like for example, if a bucket breaks, something breaks, I gotta get down there and fix it. Then somebody else has to maintain the wall, and we have no coverage for that. That's usually the part-time gets involved with that. But during the days, when we're in operation, it's just overwhelming when something breaks or in general.
Any other project needs to be done that pulls you away.
It pulls you away or something. So we kind of do is, I schedule what I can do during the off days and what Chip can do on his days. So I get started with him, but when I start something, I don't get a chance to finish it. So I have to go back to all the paperwork back in the office for the inventory, the listing, the trust coming in, the shipping process, and it's a lot. It's a big task to stay up with. I'm doing pretty good at it right now. I don't want to fall behind. So pretty much much got it where it's pretty comfortable, riding smooth, but there's a lot of areas that need to be like cleaning. That's a project, but it's a cleaning process that we should be doing at least once a week or once a month for clean all the bacteria and stuff off the walls and the floors and, you know, whatever it takes. Because us and their employees and the residents, that upper wall should be clean all the time. Right now, I try to get out there and do it, but then again, just something else comes in.
What do you do, power wash it or what?
We try to do the power wash bit, yep. And we gotta scrub the walls and it takes a while to do it. Same thing with the walls. The bigger project is doing, the section's doing the facility itself. We gotta do that. That's a lot of work, a lot of work. And those should be done like the once a year, that once every 6 months to, every 6 months we should be doing the facility inside. It keeps all the dust down, keeps all the bacteria down, if we do it right, clean it right properly. The flooring, you know, and then you get into the bailers part of it. You gotta clean the bailers too, to keep them up to speed. Then you get into the maintenance project, doing little things like changing hoses, hydraulic lines, wear plates, we do those. But if it breaks in a major break, we call Public Works up. We call them up, and they come out and continue, they come out and do what they have to do to get it back up online. And we just continue with the operation. So as I'm looking to, that's what I'm looking at, is getting a full-timer there, so we get, just continue on what we're doing. And then making things a lot easier for example, as someone goes on vacation, you have someone there, we use them for part-time, but the part-timers, when they come in, they're only strictly, we give them 22 hours. But we've been working this part-timer here for 30 hours. I try to stay under the legal limit. So I keep it at 30 and that's it. And that's just during the operations. That's not even having him help out doing what we need to do for the projects during the off times to get done. Signage, labeling, inventory, there's all kinds. You got the list right there in front of you. I don't know if you have the
Do
list.
we have a list?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you're
But I have a whole list of,
So you have
I got one.
yourself, obviously, full-time. Chip is
Chip is full-time.
full-time.
Yep.
And
And
then-
what he does is 10 hours, I guess, 10, sometimes we have to do 12. Actually, we got him doing 12 because we got no staff. So we gotta boost it up so we get it. And so that allows him a few extra hours just to do what he can do within those couple hours to stay under 40.
So, and then Jeff,
Jeff is a part-time. And I've
and
been working him for the last X amount of months, 30 hours. 30 hours a week, trying to. That's just with the operation open. That's not doing things Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
How do you handle the part-timers? Are the two full-timers, are there 8 hours or whatever, 10 hours, 12 hours, okay? But the part-timers, are they working 4 hours a day, 5 days a week?
No, they work Tuesdays, Thursdays, 6 hours apiece. Say if we had two full-timers, okay? So in the morning, they'll do 6 to 12, and then 12 to closing, the other part-timer will. So, and then on.
For how many days a week?
2 days a week.
2 days a week.
And then we do, both full, part-timers come in, if we had both, come in Saturday and do 10 hours, so they get 22.
who's the other part-timer?
There isn't one.
It's vacant right now.
Oh, that's,
It's open,
okay,
it's
that's
one.
what, and you haven't been able to fill it, that's what you were saying?
That's correct.
Okay.
I think a
Jeff
lot
is
of-
the one you're trying to promote the full?
Yes, sir, yeah, because he's
Yeah.
well knowledgeable, he's actually another step. He's actually doing a step 2 or 3 right now, on the education part of it. And actually, the guys are actually moving up in the training, and they're doing really well. And as you can see, if you've been there at the facility, you can see what's been going on and how well they've been maintaining it and keeping it going as a staff, what we're doing now. And it just, we're all spreading it thin right now.
So Toby, if you bring him up to full-time, how many extra hours a week is that gonna give you?
That will give, let's see, 40? You'll see 40 be 10,
10 hours a week.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
no,
You
you
said
said the
22
part,
or
you said the
whatever.
part-timers are working 22 hours a week now.
No, he's working 30 hours a week now.
well, I got him 30 hours a week now for the last,
Well, that's because he's down a part-timer.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think it's an extra 18 hours a week.
Okay, well, that'd be enough. You still need a part-timer in
You'll
addition.
still
In
need
addition to
another
that,
part-timer.
we still need the part-timer for those overlap things.
If
So
you-
I could do mornings and whatever, I do mornings anyways, and then I have the part-timer come in and they do the wall, whatever it takes. Well, someone's like, somebody's gotta be up there all the time. And
On,
yeah,
On
the
the
areas,
days that
actually,
it's
where
open.
the areas are at, there's 1, 2, 3 areas, there's gotta be a person in each one. If somebody needs help, one person, like the person up on the wall, goes down and help the guy out back, so you get a lot of material that comes in, a lot of debris.
mhm.
And then you get the person in the middle, he's running back and forth in the Bobcat, trying to do the baling, keep up with the baling and so forth. And usually get that under control. It's usually the person out back that runs into the little issues once in a while. Because you get people in line, traffic and so forth. We try to work with them to move a little faster, to keep the operation flowing properly. So then that's where I stand when I come in now, that when I'm up on the wall, I look it down to help him out in the back. And then I come back over the wall, so I leave the space open. So the residents, if they come up and need questions and that, there's no one there at the front desk.
How long have you been trying to fill the part-time position? Well, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? Any ideas on a way to get that done? Because this'll help you, a full-time person, but you're still gonna be short, right?
Yeah, but we could, if I get him, if he could work, I get some projects done, some on the list that would need to be, see, right now I'm prioritizing, get things. Once I get caught up, I have this going into the PM for the scheduling process, like a individual work order. Boom, 2 full-timers, work order, there you go. This is what needs to be done by the end of the month. But I have to get these areas that need to be repeated, but once I get this going, it'll help out a lot to keep the operation and run smoother, and I'm not at point A to point B running everywhere doing 100 different things at once. I'm stressing thin right now, I'm really. It's just,
So we're gonna end up with 1 manager, 2 full-time, and 1 part-time. Just wanna clarify. 1 manager,
yep, the 2
2
full-time.
full-time, and 1 part-time.
And 1 part-time.
And what do you consider, you got principal operator on call, 3 of them.
That was their fill-ins, and I've been using them to accommodate, well, not having a guy there. They don't, all they do is come in, if they could, come in for a couple of extra hours here and there to fill in for those days.
And that line is where, Julie? Is that under part-time?
It's under part-time.
Okay. So it's not like on call like we do for like fire or,
It's not a separate line.
okay. So the on-call and the part-time's built into that 24,700?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So any ideas how you can fill that part-time position? Is it gonna take more money, or is it just gonna?
You know what,
Where's it
right,
being
there's
advertised
so
now?
many, it's,
We were advertising it all over the place.
All
We
over.
had,
Everywhere.
we had 2 people. We hired 2 people, and they ghosted us.
They what?
Ghosted us.
Never showed up, or, okay.
yeah, it's too bad.
I didn't know if they came and then left, or,
No.
but they never even
No,
came.
no.
Well, I think you're gonna have a hard time filling it right now because of the unemployment rates.
Well, I was just gonna say that, because the way the unemployment rate is now, everybody's working. And a lot of like market bastards
16 an
asking
hour.
for people to work for them. And,
And
you know,
it-
versus,
22
plus the
hours.
money, they're always looking
What are you
behind
paying
them.
for?
15, 70 something, 15, 60 something. I don't have it marked down.
If you work down there during the winter too, you freeze to death.
Well,
I've never seen a place so cold in my
It's
life.
awful.
It's
It's cold.
It's tough,
Don't you
it's
know?
tough.
When that wind blows through there, oh my gosh.
It's tough. Sometimes you see the snow going this way, right out the other end.
You wanna talk about these other increases?
Yeah, the line item for, let's see, the expense recycling, baling wire, I'll be purchasing that next year. That's a big chunk right there. That's about $2,100 for making bales, is basically what it is. And I have enough to get into next year, so I was just doing the count on it and what we did last year and what we did this year. The next line item down, the CFN, is the recovery for the Freon. So the Freon they had a guy, I don't know, like $200 in there. Maybe you really don't need that in there now. Something we could probably take out of there, but they were paying a guy to do the recovery for the AC units and the refrigerators and stuff like that at the time. And down the ground maintenance, next year, 19 and 20, that we're looking at trying to get one of the sheds out back is falling down, it's falling apart. And it's for a safety hazard because actually the vehicles drive right past it all the time. So it's right there, so we have to come up with some type of plan and incorporate that on the maintenance part of it to get this where it needs to be safety-wise. Ground maintenance.
You want the shed, or is it, you're talking about tearing it down?
Well, no, we don't want to tear it down.
You wanna
We want to
fix
fix it and make it right. And, just make it right, because we go in there with the loaders and stuff, plus you have the residents drive right past, so we walk past it, it's actually ready to come off the wall now. So that's my project tomorrow. Anyways, also fence repair, anything happens during the winter time for next year. I know it ain't enough in the budget to what I need to do, but I'll take care of that next year to replace a section of it for making expansion for pushing the snow. That's why the fence gets moved every year. And then we look down by the heat. They had to use a couple of grand over on the heat. But I don't know how that's gonna work for the gas, since we don't have the swap shop in the old Baylor building attached. It's separate, it's not there no more. I'm sorry. And the fuel, I was over, so always we got the new bidding for that, so I was over. So I incorporated a few $100s on
What's the pricing I'm looking at on the internet provider? Where does
that.
Yeah, there's a little bit increase.
Yeah, it's a little increase on that. I don't know the sheet.
Well, it went from 919 to 13 to 16, down
I don't know why it keeps
or
doing that.
actual to the adopted, then 17. I was
Well,
just
part of
wondering,
that line pays for that television screen.
okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering if
Yeah.
that was.
Okay.
You need to go to the dump to watch the television.
Just go
Yeah, you
visit.
know, sometimes they put some nice pictures on, like a
Scott's
waterfall
what you
and
call it, the
mountains.
Scott's right.
Don't worry, just visit.
Check it out.
Last year, we had a big discussion about electricity for the swap shop. And one of the reasons for building a new swap shop was so we get the heat and electricity down. Cedar Peak. But we're increasing electricity $2,000, so does that kind of,
Well, electricity,
Well-
there's not much in the,
But if you look at fiscal 18,
yep,
there was $4,000 in there for electricity for the swap shop and the old baler.
Okay, we got rid of that.
And we got rid of that, so that's been zeroed out. So it's, you know, it hasn't increased more than the 4,000. So I guess one way of looking at it
We're better off than we
It's
were.
minus
is minus
2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Looks better too.
Yeah, it's nice. They are gonna have heat in there, right?
Yeah, yeah, there's heat in there right now.
Okay.
What we're doing, I got small molding heaters just for the space.
Yeah.
The space ain't very big. So they do have heat and we have AC. for the winter. Oh, yeah. It'd be nice and comfortable.
Anything
Any
else?
questions on that section, or go down in the solid waste, or?
More of the solid waste. Everybody's all set?
Yep.
Good.
Solid waste.
Well, solid waste, you see I went up a couple $100 for the Dover, because each year, I guess last year, they went up, as you can see, they went up a few $100. So I don't know where they're gonna stand at, so I'll leave it at 30, or whatever it is, you can, whatever you decide. You could leave it as is and wait for the invoice to come in, and then find out exact, and then go ahead and approach it. And go from there.
So, and that hazardous waste line is just for the household hazardous waste day?
That's correct.
Do you
That's
recall
correct.
how many residents took
Yes,
advantage of it?
actually, I was looking at it today, there was only, I think they had a number only maybe 50 people out of town.
Maybe.
Out of town. They're paying all that money just for one day for a few hours.
You pay that much money for it?
Yeah, it was actually $2.29, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna be talking to them again here shortly, because I wanna find out the exact, because they do have numbers from the town people versus whatever. So I'm gonna find out. I
That's
know
like
there
a
was on a
flat
piece of
rate?
paper, I seen it was a number of how many showed up, so they sent me an invoice or something about a reimbursement, so I gotta give them a call and straighten that out with them. I don't know what they're talking about, reimburse or an invoice, I get two different
No,
things.
we do spend about $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's
That
a
is a lot.
flat
That's it.
rate that you pay, like, because it goes to Dover or whatever, they
So
charge?
regardless of who shows up.
Well,
They
that's-
charge. Why isn't it per person or something?
Well, part of that is,
That
well,
uses
the
it.
thing is, it's only for one day for 4 hours or 6 hours. See, it's, like today, I was asked, so many people wanted me to, why can't we just continue on? I said, well, I can look into it. Why can't we just keep going to Dover every so often we need to, because we're paying all this money for it? And maybe but the money that they get from us, it goes towards for them getting rid of the stuff. It costs them over
lot
between
of
$30,000 to $50,000 in order to get rid of it between all the three towns.
So it costs
Or
them
5,000.
3,500,
30,000.
well, I know,
Yeah.
$3,500 for our 50 people?
Pretty much this one is, I get the
I
quantity
mean,
pretty
that's-
much, yeah.
that's-
Well,
Just get
but
the
That
what's-
numbers.
seems like a lot to me.
What's
I
the
don't know, I
alternative?
brought 2
Yeah,
truckloads.
You did not.
You're the problem.
You're the whole.
So Toby,
equal
what's the
50.
alternative?
Insecticides, paint
Yeah,
cans, gas
exactly.
cans.
I mean, it's got such a wide range of chemicals that you have to get rid
No,
of.
what's the
They don't
alternative?
all get disposed the same way.
That's why it costs so much.
In other words, if we decided we didn't want to spend $3,500 for 50
Well, I'm
people,
gonna find out that, because that is a good chunk of
Right.
change.
Is there an
We
alternative?
gotta look at it too, that we're not, I gotta look at back in history that I'm pretty sure we're not licensed to handle hazardous waste. 'Cause That's
That's
a
right.
whole different
That's a
ballgame.
whole different game. yeah.
And then you get into that, you're gonna have DES over at the site every week. And then we don't wanna do things like that. We don't wanna kind of throw a red flag
I
out
tell
there.
you,
That's
too,
a lot.
They do a
I
nice
think-
job. I mean, you drive up, it's all laid out, there's tons of people all over helping.
But
That's
they're-
the one?
yeah.
If you go, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, they
That's
do
one
great.
of those areas that that I think you could look at co-oping with 2 or 3 other towns
Yeah,
to do
That's
it.
what we have to.
Well,
Hazardous waste.
That's what you do.
That's
Dover
what we do.
does it with 5 towns.
I mean, if you got Madbury, Nottingham, whatever, and co-op.
Well, they probably all do, right? They probably all go to Dover?
Yeah, the surround towns do, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could pay for the non-recurring and pay for the recurring
But this would
costs.
be a little different if
Sure.
you're like Lamprey set up.
Yeah.
Like maybe this town would, two other towns with a, and then work out some type of contract or whatever to get rid of the hazardous waste.
I think it's-
location.
Probably look into someone else doing it.
Yeah, we don't wanna take that on. We don't
But-
wanna do that.
We don't have enough manpower.
But, I mean, that should be part of the agenda for the solid waste committee.
It
Doesn't have to
is,
be
it
for
is.
solid waste, it can be.
It is, that's one of the topics that
Okay.
is, how,
Good.
you know, what we could do to move forward on this, because that is a lot of change. I'll get back with Julie on the rest of that. The best way to handle it. Because right now, there's a lot of stuff, the town has been bringing a lot in, a lot of residents have been bringing a lot of paint cans and things underneath the sink. And I just can't say no, it's hard saying no, you know, you just wanna, but we do have a little small designated area that we do have a section contained, but it's contained, that's where we try to stay up a daily basis or a weekly basis, or once a month, we try to keep it clean and labeled, keep it separate due to the paint cans, because sometimes there'll be a latex paint in there, or any other oil base, we could actually, during the summertime, we could actually tip that stuff and put it on a piece of wood and dry it out, and
That's what,
boom, it's
yeah.
gone.
As
And
long
then we
as
could
it's
actually
dry,
use a tin
right?
can, yeah, and then we could use a tin can for recycling, and that's where the money's at, is in the recycling of steel. But it's,
So as long as it's dried out.
it's dried
I
out.
understood,
As
then
long as it's
it's
no more than an inch,
And-
I think, no, yeah, no more than an inch,
dried,
dried,
yeah.
we could take it for recycling. Any
Right.
more than that, we have to, once it's dry, we could throw it away. And that's what we kinda do, we kinda encourage everybody, try to, dry it out at home,
Right.
throw kitty litter in, do
Kitty
something,
litter,
try to
something,
keep the can
do
open for a
whatever.
few days. I know it might stink, but, or dry it out on a piece of plywood out in the backyard, or if you could. But
And the water-based paints, this doesn't apply to, or,
But that is
I thought-
water-based.
no,
the
that's
water
oil
is
and,
different, no, it's different,
yeah,
it's different.
okay.
Yeah, you get, it's just latex paint is the only thing we could actually do, just because it hardens up on the face
Yeah,
of the
right.
lumber itself, or wherever we put it. But the oil bases, it always stays there, or,
Yeah,
so. That's something that I've been looking into anyways, I've been looking into it actually most of the day. Believe it or not, it's gonna be a hot topic soon.
Yeah.
Because it's a big dollar bill, why we paying all this, and, you know, you just said, why we paying all this money?
yeah, for 50 people, if that's what it
Yeah,
is.
well, I just wanna verify a lot of the numbers for that, I'm not quite sure, I think I've seen it on one of the invoices, or, one of the slips they sent me not too long ago, last week.
Let me back up just for a minute, Toby, so I understand exactly the head count. You're requesting one full-time and one part-time?
Yes, sir.
Well, the part-time is going to full-time.
But you still have a
Well, I just want to, yeah,
And
but
then
then you're
part-
still losing then a part-time head.
Correct.
Right,
Right.
so it's,
Making that
I want-
so
part-time
it's,
is one part.
I just want to know how many people do you need to get the staff? Is it one full-time and one part-time? Okay, you can upgrade the part-time to a full-time, that fills that position, but it opens up this position down here.
That you can't fill because nobody wants it.
Is that what the part-time is, to backfill that position?
Part-time now, yes, making a full-time right now.
So you need a full-time and a part-time, is what
That's
you
correct.
Okay.
We already have a part-timer now, just if we could roll them into a full-timer,
yeah, so
then you
not a
have to-
whole full-time. The part-time is going to full-time, Andy needs a part-time.
But he'd bring in a part-time, it would be,
Right.
Right.
either way, it's two half-timers. Okay, so the money comes out to be the same, right?
Well,
No.
no, the full-time is
No,
gonna have
because
benefits and everything
The
else.
full-time could conceivably cost an additional $30,000 on
Right.
top of the wages.
Yeah, okay, all right. And we are actively looking for the half-timer now, the part-timer now?
yes.
Okay, got
I
you.
can still just put it on the
For
screen.
the past 2 months.
Well, we found two.
But they're
Didn't show
ghosts.
up. So, So they're around $16 an hour, they're around 22 hours,
That's correct.
and what are the hours?
6 hours apiece.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep, 6 hours apiece.
So like what
Tuesday,
time?
Thursday, and the one is 6 in the morning to 12, that's one part-timer, the other part-timer does 12 to 6, closing. They do that Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's correct, if we're fully
So
staffed.
$16, around $16 an hour.
And then they work all day and do a 10-hour day on a Saturday.
If you get the part-timer moved to full-time responsibility, you'll have that one part-timer. What's that one part-timer gonna do?
Between, come in at 8, it was 6 hours during the day. We could actually do 6 hours, part of morning and part of afternoon to overlap.
You say you're splitting it between? I don't think you can do that under the Fair Labor Standards Act.
Do what?
Do what? They're just doing 6 hours with one person.
Start them part of the day in the morning, send them home, and bring them back for part of the day in the afternoon.
No, he was sent home, he stays there. He stayed at 8, was it 9 to 4, or 8 to 3, or 6 hours. He stays there for that
6 hours on-
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and 10 hours on Saturdays is that one.
For the part-timer,
Okay.
Is it still actively up, like?
Mhm.
You see
Okay.
it still?
Hmm?
You look confused still.
Well, I guess I'd like to see some kind of volume time periods so that I'd know that we had some kind of, right now, the two part-timers are splitting the whole open period of time. You're not gonna have two part-timers, you're gonna have one part-timer. I guess I'm kinda
He's
confused.
gonna
He only has one part-timer now.
Well, but he's working 30 hours a week instead of 22.
Yep.
But I guess I'm kind of looking at what the schedule will look like, where you're gonna use that one part-timer and how that's gonna be beneficial. That's what I'm trying to
Well, I
figure
think the
out.
difference is that if the part-time was a full-time, he gains that guy's 18 hours to go do other projects.
That's
So
what
that
we're
guy
looking
could
at.
still use 22 hours to be like a part-time person, but then he gets that other 18 hours that he can make from doing other things. At least that's how I was hearing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other part-timer that you're still looking for can still do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at those busy times when you need people on the wall and running out back
That's right.
and
Yeah,
so forth.
exactly.
Toby, can you tell me about electronics? Why do you want $8,000?
What is it you're asking, John?
We're back on solid waste.
I'm back on solid waste on electronics, because it was 5,000, and you spent 5,000, about 17. You asked for 8,000 in 18. In 18, you spent 2,000, almost 3,000. Now you're asking for $8,000.
That right there, I have to do some more research on.
What is it, what is
Yeah,
that?
because it fluctuates up and down. It does a lot of the TVs and stereos.
Yeah, I kind of know what it's for. The issue is that the last couple of years, you really haven't used that kind of budget.
Well, I stopped, I kind of slowed it down a little bit. We didn't take much in, and I kind of, instead of waiting the shipping, and I was working with the contractor that picks the stuff up too.
So that's disposal of all the electronic items? That's how much it costs?
Well, we only spent,
dispose of it?
we only spent 3,000 in fiscal 18.
Yeah. So maybe that's a little bit,
So you
Yeah,
never-
that's
you never
what-
really
that's
spent
back.
eight.
Yeah, this might be a little steep this time.
might be able to whack a little bit on that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Even if it
Don't
was
say go ahead, I'll make it, I'll really go ahead.
like tape 4.
Let the ABC whack on that a little bit. And if you go down to the line on solid waste other, what's solid
Yes,
waste other?
okay. That right there is like any other debris, anything we have to pay to get rid of separate. Like, for example, what do you call those things up there?
Fluorescent light bulbs?
No, not the light bulbs, the detectors.
Fixtures?
The detectors.
Oh,
Fire
yes.
detectors in the houses and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That's supposed to fill in for that. But that, we had that, now I got that under control for the hazardous, not the hazardous waste, the electronic guys that deal with taking the truck. So I worked out something with them so they can actually take them, so we don't have to take it and put it on that line item. What it is on this line item now that I'm trying to do is I base it on and what we've been doing for shipping things out, like for example, our mixed paper, we have to pay to get rid of mixed paper now due to the marketing. The marketing now, it went as high as $37.50 minus $37.50. Now it's at $32.50. So in that area, it still hasn't reached any people, so we have to pay to get rid of it. So would like to establish a line item to have a little control of it. Guys, even open cardboard or any things that goes down, we got a place to, we know what we're spending, what we're, paying out. I know for example, that's actually one of the big ones right now. It's about, looking between $500 to $700 a truckload to get rid of. This is the best way to do it at this point, because you could actually, you put it into the waste disposal, but you're still paying for that tonnage for $65 a ton. This is only $32 a ton. The last delivery I just did, 32. And we ended up paying about 600 and change on that. So I was looking at it, unless, to me, I think this is the best way to do it, instead of throwing into the MSW, the bulky waste, the first line item.
I got you.
Because it would end up costing more.
We don't know that. See, it's all dependent on the market right now. See, each time we do this, right here, the sample moving stuff, it's based on the market.
It changes.
Oh, yeah. And I try to stay current on that, because I have the NRA, speaking about bringing the NRA up, I had them look into the paints and all that stuff too, because that's, we pay them to do a lot of this digging for us, for the marketing and getting vendors and stuff for us to help us out, to move this stuff out the door.
The next line is the fluorocarbon CFC.
Yes, and this is another area that, where at one time we were collecting these AC units and refrigerators and doing the recovery at the same time. And I get to the point that we're not qualified, we didn't get proper documents, and so there's nobody qualified to do that. So we have a company that goes out through the NRA, they at $9 a unit, and they come out in a minimum of 25 units. So what we do is they come in, do the recovery, I get proper paperwork, if the DS ever asks, we have everything's all legit.
So that costs you $3,500?
The estimated between 200 to 306, you do the math from there, every 2 months, we usually do up to 30 to 40. We've been doing quite a bit. I get actually in the back right now, they're coming this week, I got about 45 pieces of equipment out there that showed up within a couple of weeks, a few weeks. It's amazing how much we get.
Wow.
It's a lot.
What's the revenues you generate from all this?
Yeah.
Don't you take in some money here and there?
Yeah.
Charging for
We charge for an AC.
To take
right
an
now.
AC
We're
in.
working with that with the solid waste, you're gonna hear some more about it.
I'm just trying to understand how much of
Somewhere
this
in here.
is offset by some of the charges that you make.
There's, the revenue charts are in the back,
Oh, okay.
but in fiscal 18, the transfer station took in $82,911.
Okay, so it's just about a wash to the delta. I mean, I'm just looking at the total. The solid waste delta is 21,507. You took in 18, so if you apply that totally to that,
Well, you took in more than 18, you said, how much each? How much did you say?
18,
82,000. 82,000.
oh, 82.
82,
I'm sorry,
not
I
18.
misunderstood. Okay, so.
82,900.
Even better for the So, okay,
That sounds better.
huh?
That sounds better.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said. No.
So, you know,
It's been an increase.
we've got to
the
take
last
that
4 or 5
into
years.
consideration somewhere in here, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, right, so if we're increasing if you're seeing the budget's going up, we're gonna theoretically make more money, right? There's more aces coming in. And we
Yeah,
need to
the
spend more
AC go
money.
in,
What's
yeah,
the-
we're still charging.
I'm sorry, what's the fee you charge if somebody brings you a refrigerator?
$10.
$10.
And then it's
So-
$9 to pay them.
And what do you, that would be one unit of Freon that the other guy would charge you $9 for,
$9
right?
a unit, yeah.
Okay.
So you make $1.
I mean, maybe we have to look
At
at
least
our
we don't-
fees for
yeah.
some of this stuff.
Well, that, it's all broken down, you'll hear it at the board meeting.
Yep.
Because I'm going through, we're talking about it now, we're finalizing our discussion on the rates and stuff, and breaking them down per ton of pounds and stuff, so we know, kind of narrow down, so you have an idea of the manpower, the weight, then versus surrounding towns too at the same time that we're charging. So we know we're paying $9 a unit to get it recovered. Now, we have to figure on, that's where we're at right now, and we're working on presenting that at the next meeting. And how much we are gonna charge, if it costs us X amount of dollars to get rid of it.
Toby, who helps you look for markets for your recyclables?
You know, Northeast Recovery Recycling Association.
I was about to ask you, I didn't
Yeah.
think it was National
I
Rifle
was like,
Association.
National Rifle Association is doing all this work?
There's 2 Rs, NRRA.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
As opposed to the National Rifle Association.
Oh, yeah, they do a lot of the marketing right now. Actually, we're gonna be sending out 10 cans, and that's gonna be a big chunk of change for the town. So what we do is I try to do full loads, not partial. That's the biggest thing, is you do partial load, you hook up with another town, and that doesn't look good, you're gonna get the lowest grade value. And you don't get much money for it. So you do full trucks, that's where it's all at.
So there are only like 3 or 4 items then that you're actually getting money for? What about cardboard? Do
We get money for
we
cardboard,
get
yep. We get money
aluminum
for-
cans?
That's correct.
And
Aluminum
tin,
cans
and,
was the big one,
yeah, and tin cans?
That's correct.
And those are the only 3?
That- We have the plastics, the clear milk jugs.
And you get something for those?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay,
And the colors too.
okay.
The only thing we don't
Is
need
mixed
money
paper.
for is the mixed paper
And the glass?
And
and the glass,
And the regular
That's correct.
Is it
plastic,
glass anymore?
the regular plastic.
regular plastic clear bottles.
Clear bottles, yes. The
You
number
do?
1 piece, yes. We get
Have those
money for
prices
those.
gone down?
Those have been holding their own. They've been holding their own. Yeah.
About the milk.
They might drop down a few cents, but they're
Yeah.
still above where we could get a revenue coming in.
Well, the
Yeah.
biggest,
So
the
the
biggest
mixed
impact's on
papers
the
and
paper.
stuff you're having to pay for now.
That's
Mixed
correct.
paper,
That's
Yeah.
correct.
When did that happen, Tony? When did you stop starting to pay for mixed
Because
paper?
the
That was
Chinese,
during that commotion with China was
Yeah.
really
turned down
going
the
down, I guess, the
contaminant
States and
that they'll
China,
accept
when
in
they
the
were
paper.
shipping back mixed paper, that affected a lot in the United States.
Yeah,
And right now, I guess, what I was reading, that a lot of the big guys are trying to come up with some type of system to, move this forward for everybody in the country. But I guess what they were looking at, when they do their inspection on it, they expect 0.5%, the Chinese people. Well, we set out bales under 20%, we allow 20% of contamination. They only allow like berry,
So that-
so they shoot it and send it back. It's great how they do that, and that's where, right now, where the market's gonna stay like, I get this feeling it's gonna stay like this for X amount of months. I can't tell you, but you know how it is.
Mm.
The cardboard went down to $80. I think it's
But you
80
can
right
still
now.
get rid of it, even if you
Oh, yeah,
have
oh,
to
yeah,
pay for it,
oh,
you can
yeah,
always get
oh,
rid
yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, yeah. So I'm trying to now incorporate, there's things we can add to this stuff, like cardboard with mixed paper, but there's no sense of it, don't need to, because you're not gonna get much of a check. It's gonna get it, but it'll pay for it, getting rid of some of it, but it's not gonna get all of it, because you only can load a half a truck versus half and half. You know, you get money for this, it'll pay for that, but then you will pay the rest of it. And so better off to send it out with a full truck and be done, and it buys us time to keep the stuff inside. If it gets wet,
It's worthless.
a bigger headache.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot worse. The pricing will be a lot different. So that's why we keep a lot of that stuff inside. Newspaper, we get money from newspaper too.
But that is,
Actually, newspaper is, now they went up, now the revenue went up to, few, you can mix magazines with it, regular Time magazines, whatever, with the newspaper, and it's actually a better price.
really?
Yeah, I just found that out a couple weeks ago, so, and we're actually be ready to send that stuff out too. So we got revenue coming in, we're looking pretty good at this point, considering what the market's at. And I've been looking around, calling other places, and they're in tough shape. Sorry to say that, but, you know, I told them, I said, why don't you come on by, and we'll just give a little tour, and we'll just walk around the facility, and I'll give you how the operation, and how we're doing it. Because if this market's down over here, we're gonna work over here. Okay, we got a bale of aluminum, we're gonna take that and boom, put it over here, you know, and send it, so you always got something coming in. Always revenue coming in the door.
Now, the hauling costs, is that the change in the contract?
Hauling costs that's a whole different area right there, yes, yeah. You'll get rid of the material, right? I just put an estimate, and we'll just see what the bid comes out.
Has the per truck charge changed, or are you looking at more trucks?
It's been, I don't think it changed that much at all.
So that's
'Cause
a
I have-
volume issue.
Is that?
That's a volume, the 12,000 extra that you want is because you expect more trucks.
Well, that, I just put a number there, because I'm not quite sure. That is a number in between the high and the low. And I put that in there, because there's gonna be, a high could be up to about 48. Like a one contractor, it'd be a total of doing what we do for per month. So like MSW, the trash alone, we do roughly, on the high side, 8 to 10 loads. Those just pulls, and that's $2,900 right there. Then we do the bulky with the PT that goes to the same place, same miles. And for that right there, let's see, both put together, 34,000 a year just for those two items. And then you add on just C&D alone, that goes to ERCO, is another $10,000 a year. So this is on this guy here, this one's a high one for 39,000. And glass, we estimate up and down to 3,900. 6 times a year we haul that, roughly, 6 times a year. I mean, 6 times a year for that, and C&D 4 times a month, and the bulky PT is twice a month, and MSW is 8 times, 8 to 10, depends on the year. No, that's one thing, that's one contract. And there was another one that's up to 48,000 a year, so probably on the same haul. So it's, so we just have to wait and see what we get for bids. I don't know if we could continue what we're doing with Shipyard with our people, with them going through Lamprey at this time. But I know Lamprey by the end of this year, they're gonna ask us, what's your game plan? So we've been at it, we're the only ones left on there with Lamprey right now at this point. Everybody else branched off to the people I have here in front of me. That's who we're dealing with now is the Shipyard. They're out Elliott.
What else we got?
So why is MSW $80,000?
That's the tipping fee.
That was the tipping of where I was at. I kind of micromanaged a lot of this during that year. And the way, I guess the way everything was set up in the past, when Roger took it, when I took over, he was over. I think that's how it got incorporated in that.
Well, no, I guess my question is, I think we're still disposing of around 1,000 or 1,100 tons a year.
At $65.
No, it's maybe $67.
Okay, I'll say 70.
So I'm
About
just
30.
trying to
So that would
understand,
be
To the
like
highs of
70,000.
Yeah,
15,
he's high here.
1,500 tons a year.
when did we do
That's high,
1,500?
that's, no, 1,000, I'd say 1,050 or something like that. A
Yeah,
couple.
so it goes between 1,000 and 1,100
Yeah.
tons.
Depends on,
So, and we're gonna be at $67 to dispose, or
No, so we're at-
71?
60, it's 65 now.
So, but it goes up every year.
Yes, it does, yes, yeah. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because that's not $80,000.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, what, $10,000 over or something,
6 or 7.
or? Yeah.
You want to figure in population too? And there's a lot of people out here over there at the town, a lot of them over there saying, you know, they just moved in, all these developments coming in. So if you want to take
Say you never know
consideration too.
what it'll be. You're saying you don't know, because it could be,
It could be by 2000, it could be around here, we don't know, or not.
What could be
You know, it
2,000?
depends on the population, right?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah, I agree with Julie, yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes.
You know, there are still some people that get private pickup,
Right.
so they don't
Sure.
come to the transfer station.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah,
We probably might be able to fudge some of that, because I know it was 20,000 or whatever it was, whatever Roger left me, and I kind of gave it to everybody. Watch what I spent.
well,
So
the
actual
other issue
was
is
$75.
that Lamprey's billing isn't timely. And so some of that overage, that 83, could have been,
Let's see.
you know, in a different fiscal year, but we didn't get the bill, or they
Yeah.
didn't send the bill, so.
That's right, that's right.
Is there gonna be any big change when Lamprey, since we're the last ones with Lamprey, or we just switch to another carrier and it'll be kind of seamless to the town?
We'll just switch to another carrier.
Yeah, so that's not a
Whatever we
big,
decide on which one's gonna do it for us, that's,
okay.
It might cost us more money for the hauling.
because we got hauling, I think it was in for 26. I know it's gonna be more than that, just by the numbers I just looking at, but we'll see when we get to
Why
that.
did everybody leave Lamprey then? If it's more expensive?
Because
Well,
the person that drove the truck, there was issues with the person who drove the truck.
Oh,
And so,
one of those things.
and the person who managed the truck. So I guess Lamprey
Okay.
just decided they didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, I see.
And they sold the
That's
truck.
that's
They
the
sold the
short,
truck.
that's
This
the
is the one that
short
we all
story.
used to
That's fine.
use, like
That's all I
the.
need.
Yeah,
Personnel issue,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
All right, so that's gone.
That's gone.
So now we're doing it.
Well, what they're doing is shipyards billing through Lamprey now for the tonnage. And all.
Do any of the towns
That's why we
around,
don't see any invoices coming to us on this, because right to them, because we're at $251 for hauling for Lamprey. And the contract, the only contract we have through Lamprey is per tonnage. It goes up what we do with that each year, $1 each year.
do any of the towns around charge for a fee for the sticker?
For the one,
For the sticker.
Yes,
Oh,
but
the
I-
dump sticker?
Yeah.
Yes, but I couldn't tell you which ones. But I know that there are some towns that charge for the sticker.
They used to charge here,
I'm sorry?
I think they charged 50 cents.
Yeah, we used to.
50 cents.
50 cents.
Well, wasn't that the town clerk's fee for issuing it back when we had a part-time town clerk?
I don't think so, I think they just charged 50 cents. It's just like the residence tax, you know, every
Yeah, way tax,
resident
yeah.
used to get charged $10, and it was such a
Yeah.
pain for the
Yeah.
tax collector
How many
to collect
stickers
it.
are out there? How many
They stopped doing it.
residents do we have with stickers?
I don't know, they're like over 4,000 people in the
Yeah, there's
town.
4,000 people in the town, but they're not all.
But you're talking like
Stickers.
probably
I still got
2,000.
people coming in getting stickers now, since we started handing them out last October.
Well, say it's 4,000 people, $10 a sticker.
Is it
Yeah, but it
4,000?
wouldn't, there's only
Right.
1,600 households maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
and not all of
Yeah.
them go to the transfer station.
Well, whatever the number.
But they have multiple vehicles,
Right.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
just saying.
It's not worth it.
And then they'll
Huh?
say, we already pay
It's not worth it to
taxes, that's what we
charge.
pay our taxes for, I'm not paying you for a sticker.
Remember when we tried to do the bag and tag?
Yeah, they
That-
weren't
that-
either.
I thought it was gonna be.
The bag?
Oh, right, the bags.
The
Oh, that
bags,
was
I
an
thought, you know, I thought.
uproar,
Yes.
it was gonna be a mutiny.
Oh, like every other town where you buy a
Like
trash
every-
bag?
Like Dover,
Yeah.
like other local towns, yeah, that
People
do
were
the
just
trash,
hysterical.
because that would limit the
Well, I think
trash.
Durham's still looking at that.
I still do.
It's just
I still
limited
think it has-
insanity.
If you make them buy
It's
a
a limit to
bag
insanity.
for the trash portion, it would force them to recycle better, or recycle more,
Right.
because you don't wanna pay for a bag for just your trash, which is part of the reason why Dover and some of the other towns do it, but.
That's what the solid waste committee kind of.
They're gonna see about some things like
We're
that?
trying to look into some, first we're gonna look into kind of educate the residents of the
Yeah.
town, because nobody knows what's going on over there. You know, there's just all what's going on the side of the wall, so I mentioned them, I said, you gotta let them know, we gotta write something up, come up with something, saying,
Yeah.
this is what it is, in the transfer station, there's a lot of us dealing with the marketing, and this is where we're at, like the 82,000 that we made last year, I think they would try to do something with that to show the resident, this is what we did this year due to your help of the aluminum, all the recycling bit to make that.
Yeah.
Contributing to get rid of it, the money to have to pay to get rid of the stuff, technically.
Maybe you can put it right on your TV, can't you?
If
How much
we
you make
do-
recycling?
Yeah, right.
Post it right there.
If we do a
actually, I got
better
a big sign
job,
I'm
your
working on.
taxes could go down,
Yeah.
or not go up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't look for that.
But
Your
I'm
lifetime.
trying to give them a little incentive for doing, you know, better
So
recycling.
that's what they're trying to work on now.
Yeah.
So trying to- And once the education, get it out there,
Yeah,
you know, I think it'll start flowing. Everybody's doing a great job right now. They're doing an awesome job. You can see the numbers. You know, it's, as long as you keep doing it and a little incentive out there, say, hey, you know, aluminum cans, look where it's at now. $135 and whatever. Actually, it was up to about $120 a ton, I think it was.
we should put something in the e-prior every week, hey,
That's what they're-
aluminum is giving you this much money.
You're gonna start
They-
seeing
they
that
are.
here in a little
Oh, are
bit.
they?
Yeah.
I didn't
You
see
don't
that.
do the transfer station quiz?
Yeah.
Is there quiz in there?
Yeah,
I missed
there's a
that.
quiz.
Yes, there's a quiz.
I
No, is
swear.
this right or is it
I
wrong?
missed it.
You can do that after dinner.
Okay,
You
yeah,
put that
well,
together.
After dinner drink, you're gonna go ahead and.
The transfer station quiz.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I guess my concern, I don't want you to go out of here thinking, I don't have any concerns,
No,
Is-
no.
is if I'm reading this
You look at me like
correctly,
my dad, you
if I'm
know?
reading this correctly, you're asking for a 17% increase in the operating budget. You're asking for a 15% increase in the solid waste budget. And I think those are pretty high increase amounts.
I already got my cut line, I just don't wanna tell them yet.
Yeah, I figured.
And that
Figure out-
that doesn't include what it's gonna add to the
No.
administrative
Yes.
cost of the budget.
Have we ever
Whatever
looked
you
at,
decide is, it is.
have we ever looked at like doing a compost or anything else that we
Well,
can do to get?
we do have, we make our own compost.
Do we? Okay.
See, it's not.
Travels in- but
Doesn't
like-
your husband tell you anything?
No, but
Oh, my
can,
goodness.
no, apparently not. But I mean, can we bring food to the dump
No, no,
and
no,
dump
no,
it
that's
in a
different, that's a
compost?
whole different
No.
area.
Okay, that's what I'm asking
No.
about.
No,
Like, can
the
we-
compost lawn.
There was a whole big process that actually
Yeah.
Toby went over last year,
Oh.
and it was basically the composting and the screening and all this other
A lot of
stuff.
work, you know,
It
it's-
was pretty involved and didn't end up being cost effective.
Worthwhile.
So, a lot of the residents and this is what they've been encouraging over the last, I don't know how many years, the composters, and a lot of us have our own composters that we
Yeah,
do
well, you bury
in
it
our
in the garden.
gardens, and we bring our compost waste out to the gardens, which is,
Actually, it keeps it out of the containers,
Weight
and
limit.
it keeps the weight down.
and they used to sell them at the transfer station for fairly inexpensive.
$30 or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which maybe we could do again and try to encourage,
No, no, that at all.
I don't know.
Keeping the food waste out of the trash.
Trash
It's better.
is a big thing,
Probably a
yeah.
huge help for everything.
Well, I think about like, and obviously we are not Seattle, but I think about Seattle because I was there and I was amazed by their trash system. I don't know if you've ever been there, but they have a trash can size for recyclables and a trash can size for compost and then a recycle bin size for trash. And it's
So they
picked up.
separate it out
Oh,
really
they
well.
separate out
yeah.
and they compost everything.
Yeah, this has been on TV.
Like, tea bags get composted and meat and all kinds of things you can't put in your compost at home. They can compost in Seattle somehow.
I wonder how they.
And they
can
fine you if your trash is bigger than that little trash can. I mean, they're really intense about it. I mean, and they recycle everything. Every number of all of the
They
plastic
must do a lot
recyclables.
of incinerating, like burning of stuff.
I think it's heat compost.
Yeah,
Somehow they
heat- yeah,
heat it up so
right.
that it breaks
Yeah,
down.
they
It
got
was
to have
just,
power plants out there.
Right.
I went out there and worked on them. That's what I used to do.
Oh, they use spray, HDR, and do all that stuff.
Oh, good.
Are we all set?
Yep.
All set.
All right, thank you very
Thanks,
much,
Toby.
Thanks, Toby.
What'd you cross out?
He'll say,
You'll see.
I'll blame it on the ABC.
When he gets the budget, yeah.
Blame it on the ABC.
All right,
All right, it was nice
Budget.
seeing you
Maybe
all.
we're going to the
yeah,
dentist.
thank you. We'll see you,
I'll be seeing you at the transfer.
yeah,
We'll see you around.
Thursday and Saturday.
Hey, Julie, on that page that you have that's, about the monthly medical costs and monthly dental and all that stuff, everybody's blacked out, there's a buyout halfway down, and how comes a buyout at $21,000?
Thanks for answering that.
That doesn't sound right.
So it's like one of the first pages.
Thank
Thank you, Toby. Under administration,
Let me just get to that.
you got it blacked out with the employees' names.
You're giving $21,000 to someone.
Oh, maybe I'm just reading it wrong, I've done that many
Maybe
times.
they have a big family and they're not taking.
Well, most buyouts,
They're
you're
not
single,
taking
and-
benefits.
or you have
Oh, right.
your spouse gets a income package. You see it halfway down? It says buyout, and then you go, cost is $21,833.55.
Oh, they only have the dental buyout.
You only have the dental buyout. I want,
So the first, if you see the hard black line,
yeah,
Yeah.
the information on the left is medical, the information on the
Okay.
right is dental, and then life insurance, STD and LTD.
okay, so they only got a freebie on the dental. Yeah, okay.
So that's just the total.
Okay, I'm good at that. No, I agree with you, Brian, it's a little high in the request there.
Well, I still also can't figure out how, and he may have a plan, he just is not articulating.
That's correct.
But a part-timer is going to only work roughly 21 hours a week. What 21 hours does he need that extra help?
Well, maybe we can ask Julie to tell him, send to us a schedule of the workers, so we know that this is when he's in and when the two possible full-timers are in, and what the part-timer will do once they fill that position.
Because I frankly wrote down in my notes when we come to a vote to move one of the part-timers to full-time and eliminate both part-time positions.
Yeah, I understand. And that's,
Well, at that point, there'd only be one part-time position.
yeah, because one of the part-time turns full-time.
But you wanna
Okay,
get rid of both
let me say it differently.
Okay.
Give him another make one of the part-timers full-time and have no part-timers.
Gotcha.
Hey, you're going where I'm going.
Well, that gets him the 18 hours, and I asked him, well, how much of a difference it's made to him. That gets him 18 hours a week.
Yeah.
Does he need more than 18?
Well, that's,
I think what he was saying on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, when they're open and they're running everything, that's when he said he was gonna have a part-time.
Well, let me just point
On
out
the wall, and
that,
be able to go out back and.
and I'll focus this on you, John. The selectmen are the ones that tell him, and we always want somebody on the wall. So if you're gonna tell him where to put his people, when to put his people,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to have it account and say, here's how many people it takes to do
well,
that, right?
all I'm asking for him, as Brian was saying, is a layout of schedule so we can make an honest
Let him make
decision.
a schedule. You're gonna look at a schedule?
Sure,
And do what? Tell him where to put the people?
not
He's
necessarily,
managing the facility.
but if we're gonna turn a part-time into a full-time, I want more information.
What do you need to know?
The layout.
What are you gonna do with it?
Well, what's,
Well, I mean, what, we're gonna get into micromanaging these guys to what
If I'm gonna be
they do? Huh?
looking for,
He's getting a half a head, maybe.
well, we've asked the same thing of the highway department, how they're gonna manage the
I
people.
don't think we asked the highway department to give us a schedule of when his people are working.
I don't think he's wrong with that, I've
I
got
guess,
schedules
Gary,
before.
my problem with it is he was very specific that the part-time people work 6 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays opposite each, because they're open 12 hours. And then they work the 10 hours on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
If you don't have that part-time, if you don't have two part-time people, what's he gonna use the other part-time person for? That's all I wanna know.
Okay.
Does he?
If he says he-
He sort of did.
No, I think he
He said
did that,
out-
actually.
What I
He said on the
expected-
wall.
What I expected he was gonna
And
say,
out
quite
back.
frankly, is Saturdays are really busy. And so I'm gonna bring another part-time person in and help fill out hours Saturdays. But he didn't say that. And that's, I guess,
That may be his presentation skills that you're seeing more than.
Yeah.
it may be, but
He also, he alluded to a project list he has, which I guess he gave to Julie and he didn't provide to us, and that might
Well,
give
he
you some
didn't.
comfort.
He did not indicate to me that it was for the purpose of this meeting. He sent
So
me
you
a
didn't know we
draft of
can't.
something, and I
So-
made some suggestions about it,
I see.
yeah.
And the other thing,
Well, it's okay. His communication skills are a
I
little
guess the
bit.
other thing I'm concerned about is the 17%
Well, I
increase.
think
Well, I
he
understand.
communicates wrong.
I
Yeah,
understand, but
but he might
But
not
it
say a
doesn't
lot.
necessarily.
no, that's why it took us over
But I
25
agree.
minutes to deal with a manager, two
I
full-time people, and
agree.
a part-time.
I agree.
I asked it, you asked it, then you asked it again after I wrote it down.
I won't argue that at all.
And the other
Well-
thing, mention one other
Yeah.
thing, 2 select boards ago, when Carol Dennis was on the board,
Right,
nobody works 12-hour shifts.
right.
yeah.
I mean, police maybe, I don't know, fire, but anyways, but we
Nurses.
made that clear because of the equipment they're using out there, nobody works 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch this, and that's why I want a schedule to come in to
Well-
make sure I'm not running 12-hour shifts. And if he does have the manager, and, because he's a working manager, he's not just a.
So why doesn't anybody work 12-hour shifts?
Because it was
That's
it was
safe.
believed to be a safety
Safety
issue,
hazard.
Safety issue
A belief by.
the select board.
at that time.
So,
We haven't
okay,
changed.
No, that's fine. All I'm saying is, okay, so, no, you can't work 12-hour shifts. We want somebody up on the wall all the time. I mean, we can sit there and micromanage him and
And
then
out
second
back.
guess him about how many heads he needs, but that's not our
When you-
job.
Why,
Well-
and this is just.
He
a-
manages the facility.
Why does he need someone up on the wall all the time?
Because you need somebody
You
when
could
the
help.
cars are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's supposed to be somebody
Helping.
there to
Direct.
direct traffic and direct people and watch.
and they do
what the
need
people
someone
are doing.
there all the time. For someone who goes 3 days a week.
Oh, you're the
You
problem.
know.
I thought it was me.
Yeah.
Thank
They need someone
I
on
try to
that
go
wall.
once a month.
I was here today, but there also
I know
won't be 2 of
because-
us there.
Because they're running out back and they're running,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not necessarily busy Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, it's
not-
Saturday.
It's not
Saturday's the killer.
running like
I
it
know,
usually
the
does.
direction we gave
Yeah.
them was somebody on the wall.
I do, I have, you
I
know,
believe there should be.
Well, then you have to give them the budget.
people that
to
I
do it.
help and,
And
yeah.
just, whatever your decision is, I just want to again remind you that for your extra 18 hours, it could potentially cost you $47,000
Right,
a year.
because of the full-time
It's
position.
the same problem with the police.
What are their hours on Tuesday, Thursday, and
So-
Friday?
6 to 6?
It used to be 8 to 6, but I
No,
think it's earlier
7,
now.
maybe I've got that wrong,
Yeah, I
maybe
think
it's
it's
7 to 6?
I think it's 7.
7 to 6.
7 to 6.
It's 7 in the morning, I don't know
Right.
when the cutoff is.
6, I think.
Yeah, but they let you in at 6:30. I mean, if they're there, you.
So they're there at 6.
But really, this whole problem, or the whole bring on someone to full-time started because you can't get this part-time position
Correct.
filled.
Right.
It would be better for us to actually work,
Well,
maybe
that's what
try
I
a
was
little
saying,
bit
Dan,
harder
what's the problem?
to get
Why are we
another
having trouble?
part-time
Well,
person
Part-time
the-
person.
and save us some
Part-time
money.
person.
Does that,
The issue is that we have essentially 0% unemployment.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
the issue.
it is
I
right
know.
now, yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
and if he keeps the part-time person for a full-time person, he's gonna be lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
So, he may have a problem anyway, just because you can't, no
Can't get
basic
anybody.
employable
Absolutely.
people out there.
How like, what does this person need for qualifications? Are
Well,
they
they
gonna
have-
train them on everything?
High school
or-
Yeah,
diploma.
they train them on everything, yeah, high
Pulse.
school diploma or GED.
Pulse,
And then they take, when they can, the solid waste certification classes.
Certification 1 or whatever.
Whatever, right.
Yeah.
do those, are those the same part-timers that are working in the swap shop?
No.
No.
Those are
That's a
volunteers.
People in
separate,
the swap shop are volunteers.
Totally volunteer.
okay, but some of the volunteers work X hours, or they all?
No, I don't
They're
think
all
so.
volunteers.
They don't do extra work for Toby for pay, no.
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 No, I'm just wondering about a comment when we had that run-in with one of the residents, and they said it was with a part-time
It
employee.
was with one of the on-call
It
employees.
was one of the on-call
Yes.
employees.
He
Okay.
wasn't
Okay,
manning the swap shop, so to speak.
okay. So it wasn't one of the ones that would, okay.
The areas that I see cutting now, that we can discuss it a little bit more, the bulky waste is high,
Yeah.
that electronics is high. I mean, a lot of those figures are left over several
I think
years.
you could cut like half out of
Yeah, a
it.
lot, there's a lot of meat that you can
Couple of
play with
those.
there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of,
But that's on the solid waste side,
yes,
Right.
which isn't the,
Well, that's all right, I mean, it's all
money.
the same pot of money.
but when you talk a percentage, the
Yeah.
employee side of it
I agree.
is
Well,
a
also, when
bigger
you
chunk of money.
With
let's put
the,
it plainly, police are looking
Healthcare.
for full-time people. He's looking for full-time, guaranteed.
Fire
Fire's gonna
department's
look
looking for
full-time.
people.
I guarantee
Everybody's
is,
looking for
So-
they need,
Yeah, so
People.
it's a healthy discussion, that's for sure.
Well, I will say this, so if the dump is open to the public 36 hours, it's open 6 to 6. And he said he has to have 3 guys. He has the guy at the wall,
Mm.
there was the guy at the back,
Mhm.
and the guy doing something else. And I know he told us what it was, but I don't go to the
Well,
dump often
him.
enough to understand it.
doing
But
lots
there's
of
3
projects and everything
people,
else.
but there's 3 people in a spot. There's 3 spots that he needs people while the dump is open to the public. So that is 108 hours a week. So with the people he has right now, he is only running 110 hours. That's with his one part-time working 30 hours and him and the other guy working full-time. He only has 110 hours right now that he's working with. And 108 of those have to be
Right.
just while the dump is open to the public.
Mhm.
And that's not even counting his administrative work, because if someone's gonna be running the back, the front, and the third thing he said they had to be running.
That's why you
While
can't
people are
get
there, that's 108 hours.
anything done.
It's
Even if you
definitely,
got-
it's definitely an issue that we lost the part-time employee.
If we had that part-time,
Then you have 128 hours.
yes,
Which only gives him 20 hours to do his administration work and any other projects. You've only got 20 hours of play then. I don't know how long it takes him to administer, but like I think,
Are you counting the days, though, that the transfer station's not?
I'm only
open?
counting the days that, so it's 108 hours of man hours to run the transfer station when it's open.
Right, I understand that, but that's 3 days a week.
Right, so
Right.
what then, but, so I guess my point was, if he has to use 108 of his hours to run the transfer station just being open,
Just those 3.
and he has 128 hours with his 2 part-time guys, he's only got 20 hours, including himself, to do everything else.
The other days.
Like, just mathematically. But if he has the 2 full-time people, plus himself, plus 1 part-time guy, he's got 142 hours. So that gives him 10, 20, 24 hours for administration and projects. So I mean, that's just another way to look at it.
Sure.
Is what is he doing with these people's time? And he needs 108 hours for 3 guys to be running, and including himself. Like, I don't know who does which of those 3 jobs, but he said he had 3 jobs while the dump is open.
But those jobs are not continuous.
They're not? Because
No.
I mean, someone's gotta be at the wall the whole time, that's continuous, right?
If he's at the wall full-time, now, I gotta be
We
honest
don't
with
think
you.
that's true.
I gotta be honest with you, the last 2 times I went to the dump, there was nobody at the
Well,
wall.
but don't
Yeah, but they do other
He's getting
things, they're out
admonished
back,
for
they're baling, they're running
Well,
the,
if he's
you know,
in the
running the skid
office and-
steer to
You know,
load
there's busy
everything to
times
the
when you gotta be at the
loader.
wall, there's other times he can just check the
Well,
wall.
And there's someone at the wall, and they're doing stuff.
You can't
know.
sit there and give the man direct orders that says, we want somebody on the wall all the time. Those were the words.
I think it's a safety issue.
I do too.
I don't.
I think it's a safety issue for
And
the
some people
public
don't
that,
I'm not denying that, I'm just
move
saying.
up in line,
The last
and some
times,
people
last
don't.
2 times,
you know.
definitely, I've
Yeah,
got
I
a
agree.
dump, there was nobody on the wall.
I agree with you.
That's
I
because right
agree.
Some
now,
people
Because when I
drop
went around,
things.
I had a
But you know
strange
what?
thing, and I wanted to know where to throw
But
it.
you know what? I looked around, and there was nobody on the bay downstairs either.
He-
Bring your
I
dog
think it
with
has
you.
been there like
Okay.
5
Yeah, with
times
that reason.
in 3 years.
One of, the
But here's the
guy that is downstairs these days, and it might be because he's short a part-timer, also keeps an eye on who has to sell the tickets for
The
the.
bulky
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So he
stuff.
goes, so he's out there doing tickets or whoever, whatever, you know. All I'm saying is, it's obvious, there's a head count issue, okay? If we want everything, or he wants everything this much, we want people on the wall for sure. It's a safety issue, okay, so, you know, I'm not
And
sure a
then
half a
people have to
head,
be out back.
I'm not sure a half a head
People
is
dropping
gonna,
off.
is gonna fix it, is all I'm
Maybe
saying.
not.
It isn't.
And right now, he only has 110 hours, which is probably why there's been somebody not at the wall.
And the police wanna have 24 hours
Just
protection, 2 people in every car, 24 hours a day. Fire wants to have more people in the cars Someone's gotta take
Fire,
over.
yeah, I mean.
But that's for the ABC to decide, thank you.
I was just saying, he has a point,
Yeah,
is all I was
yeah.
saying.
Supervised,
And it's a good point,
supervised.
yeah.
Anyway,
Are we done?
head count
Motion
is a
to
big issue
adjourn,
this year.
ABC.
Adjourn?
I've said for years, we are gonna bury ourselves in our own rubbish.
You're right. That's why I bring mine to Dover.
All right.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
well, technically, we didn't get a second or a vote to
Okay,
adjourn
no.
the ABC.
I will
Second is-
adjourn the ABC.
Don't you wanna go in non-public? I'm sorry?
Do you want to do a non-public?
Second.
ABC.
Julie, do you want to do a non-public?
We can.
Okay, we'll do that.
So you guys will have to go. We got more work.
Adjourned.
Goodbye, guys.
Hey, Julie goes, let's get out of here.
I move to enter a non-public session pursuant to NHRSA 91-A3-2. Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I just add that it's for the purposes of discussing an ongoing legal case?
Yeah. You want the,
Say the reason why we're going into non-public.
Oh,
you want the door shut?
for the purpose of,
Discussing
We should do
lawsuit
that.
pending against the town.
okay, pending lawsuit. Okay, got it. To do, I'll make a motion to come out of non-public.
Second.
Here we are. Make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Well, it's just you and me.
All in favor? Yes.
Did you want to seal the minutes?
Yes.
Do we need to seal the minutes?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we move to seal the non-public minutes.
Second. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Selectman LaCourse?
Yes.
Selectman Brown? Yes.
Motion carries.